What's good, LL Nation? Welcome in. Thank you guys for joining us, man. Malik, hopefully he jumps in. I want to go ahead and get started today because today is going to be somewhat of a truncated show anyway. And want to make sure we got a chance to talk to you all. Maybe we do an episode of Oh and Another Thing later on tonight. Lucky Lefty podcast, as always, featuring Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure that you indeed drink responsibly. It is for the Culture Friday. That's right, for the Culture Friday. You can ask us anything, personal, sports, life, any question you have, we'll answer it. If you get silly, we'll get silly. You want to be serious, we'll be serious because it's just a way of us showing our appreciation for you as we continue to push and trend to 2,500 subscribers on the YouTube page. And we just started in August. It has been an extreme blessing to be able to come share with you guys each and every day. And we're going to continue to do that right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. So today we're going to talk about three very interesting things. The Renaissance. Is Notre Dame entering a renaissance? Are things changing? Will we see some things that Notre Dame held fast to change in the coming years? It's an interesting thought process. Had a conversation with someone last night about the word fit at Notre Dame. And that's a word that we have kind of shunned in talking about recruits because, you know, we just point back to the example of Lou Holtz when he came to Notre Dame and the guys that we all love, the Rodney Culvers, the Jerome Bettises, the Raghib Ismails, the Tony Rices, on paper and culturally might not have been Notre Dame fits per se. But given the opportunity, they ended up turning into not just great football players, but fantastic ambassadors for Notre Dame, not just in terms of football, but in terms of life as well. And so we don't like throwing around the term fit unless we're talking about football, scheme, talent. Like, yeah, that's a Notre Dame fit. You know, we jokingly talk about Jack Larson, his name, like you can just hear it coming over the PA. Jack Larson, touchdown. We joke about that, but we don't do the whole fit thing as it pertains to culture, background, things of that nature. You know, I remember we had someone talking about in our comments, and I actually responded to it yesterday, you know, during one of our podcasts about a month ago, you know, saying that once Carnell Tate committed to Ohio State, that Carnell wasn't a Notre Dame fit, which I was insulted because I felt like, yo, what does that mean? What are you basing it off of? Stories about his parents and how they might have valued NIL a little bit more than other things? It's like, what are you basing that off? And you don't know the young man, and you don't know him. So how did you come to the determination that he wasn't a Notre Dame fit? It's just found it very interesting. And so we push back on that. And fast forward to right now, I apologize in advance to anyone in LL Nation that has a girlfriend, a wife, a significant other that is part of the beehive today. Because you're going to be forced to hear her album, the new Beyonce album, over and over and over again all weekend. My apologies to you. Because I have to hear it. I think I'm going to go to my parents' house a little later. Because both of my young ladies, my wife and my daughter, are going to be blasting it all day long. That I'm sure of. We had the SEC, the ACC, and the Big Ten all have their media days. And the last couple of days has really been a media day for Notre Dame, its own independent media day. We've seen Marcus Freeman on multiple national platforms, multiple national shows, talking about the brand, talking about the big matchup between Notre Dame and Ohio State. And with that, we come to realize that Marcus Freeman, whose mentor is Lou Holtz, and he depends on Lou Holtz a lot, talks to him a lot. Marcus Freeman might just be ushering in a new era of Notre Dame. We already know that he does things differently. It's been reported that the coaching staff didn't even have weekly meetings under Brian Kelly. It's been reported. That immediately changed. It's been reported and talked about by several Notre Dame players, including Michael Mayer recently. And Brian Kelly, we never saw him during the summer. He wasn't around. That's not Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman is the head recruiter for every young man and everyone that was at the barbecue on Tuesday. All of the recruits can verify that. They literally said Marcus Freeman was the main guy. Talked to one recruit that said, look, I literally talked to every coach on the staff. This is an offensive guy. And every coach came up, introduced themselves, made me feel at home. That doesn't happen. That left an impression on that young man. So you're talking about the Renaissance and the way things have been done previously under the previous regime, and now the way things are being done under Marcus Freeman, and how they're going to continue to evolve in the program, how the program is going to continue to evolve, especially if they continue the trend of winning, and if they elevate the winning at Notre Dame to not only getting to the college football playoff, but actually bringing a national title to South Bend. Man, watch out. It's going to be something else. The interesting thing about this is that as you go into what could take place with NIL, it was talked about at the Big Ten Media Day and brought up to several coaches. I read a Yahoo Sports article that talked about it. And Kevin Warren, Big Ten commissioner, has had multiple conversations with Big Ten athletes, and specifically, of course, Northwestern. Their athletes are leading the way because with these new TV deals and with the NIL now being legislated, that opens the door for athletes to enter into conversations with conferences for all of these deals to be collectively bargained. Yes, looking into the future, there will be a CBA, in my opinion, between college athletes and the conferences to be able to divvy up TV money, media money, and any other revenue that comes from their attributes and their accomplishments on the field, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, even on down to the bigger sports. I believe you can go check out our interview that we had with Bruce Feldman, and he was pointing out that at the University of UCLA, which has an incredible gymnastics program, historical gymnastics program, historical soccer program, historical, if I'm not mistaken, aquatics program for women. The women are making just as much, if not more money. Same thing is happening for the South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball team. Their athletes are making equal money to the football players. Why? Because they win. They might be the number one program in all of women's college basketball right now. So winning is the biggest renaissance that Marcus Freeman can bring to Notre Dame. Number one, winning national championships. Get greedy, right? As a fan base, not just one, multiple. I have to point this out. I talk to you guys all the time about my White Sox fandom and how frustrating the last 2 years have been with the talent they have on paper. And I watched episodes 3 and 4 of The Captain last night, a series on ESPN that's chronicling the life and career of Derek Jeter as the captain of the New York Yankees. And I totally forgot being removed that long from that era. I totally forgot that these dudes won 4 titles in a short span. Just bananas. I mean, the moment he got on that team, they went on a run of winning championships. And I'm still holding on to 2005. Hey, all of us, LL Nation, Notre Dame fans, we're still holding on to what? 1988. Still holding on to it. Something eventually has to change. And I think for most of us, we have high expectations that on September 3rd, change is going to come. Change is going to come. That's our hope, right? But if it doesn't, the sky isn't falling. It's not falling. The sky is not falling if it does not come on September 3rd, because they can still run the table, get to the college football playoff, and by the end of the year, ultimately, I would take a loss in the first game if it gave me a win in the college football playoff. Easy trade for me. Easy trade for me, right? Because the renaissance is not over with a loss against Ohio State. It doesn't mean that our future and our elevation of the program is denied. It just means it's delayed a little bit. That's it. It's delayed a little bit. Lucky Lefty podcast featuring Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, indeed, make sure that you drink responsibly. So the renaissance at Notre Dame, the way things are done. I pointed out some things that were done previously, have been done previously for a long time, and now those things are changing. Definitely there's a change the way Notre Dame is being viewed by young kids and athletes coming up. The class of 26 has been on campus. The class of 25 has been on campus. Notre Dame is putting an imprint. Also, recently, they just made 2 more offers to 2023 kids. So they're not sitting on their laurels waiting for guys. We know who's out there, right? Jaden Osbury, Ronan Hannafin, Jeremiah Love. We know who's out there. But Notre Dame is not deciding to sit on their laurels. They're going to be aggressive. And that's what I like about where we sit as a program. My brother, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire, joins us right now. Bro, talking about the renaissance that Marcus Freeman is bringing to Notre Dame. First of all, it's definitely a renaissance in swag, without a doubt.
That's right.
It's definitely a renaissance in swag. Under Armour is missing out on the biggest opportunity in the world.
That Marcus Freeman line.
The Marcus Freeman line, every
would do numbers.
Man. Immediately. If they
Y'all didn't see him in that commercial?
If they just released what he wore in the commercial. The day of the rollout.
Hey, Marcus Freeman NIL deal may be the biggest in coach's history.
Man, it would have been incredible. Incredible. So we're talking about the renaissance. We're going to get to is Friday. So we're going to have a flashback. Each and every Friday, we're going to flash back to a dope moment in Notre Dame history. We'll do that today. Go back to 2010, where it all began. New coach coming out the doldrums. Hope, the same type of hope that we have with Marcus Freeman. We had that at the beginning of the Brian Kelly era. We'll go back to 2010 for one of those great flashback moments in Notre Dame history. But for you, I've already laid out what I think the renaissance is. Well, what has taken place, what it is now, and what is to come. How do you see it?
I think this is a new renaissance period for Notre Dame because the perception is changing. You can feel the change guard as the head coach. And for Marcus Freeman, he should embrace this. He should make this his own era. Make this the renaissance era. Make it something that Notre Dame hasn't seen before. And for what he's been doing, You can feel the change of guard happening, and so you can tell that this isn't going to be the same as every other one. So I feel confident in that. What the old Renaissance was, though, however, was you saw a building of a foundation. You saw Notre Dame being relevant every year because we're consistent every year. You saw Notre Dame have flashes of some Hall of Fame players we've had come through, mixed with having the potential to do really well, which has invited a lot more fans. I think Notre Dame has gained, or at least amassed, hundreds of thousands of more fans in the last 5 or 6 years, just because we've been so productive. We've been able to stay on top of things amidst the controversy. So that Renaissance period had a lot of ups and downs. Definitely a lot of ups and downs. With Marcus Freeman, it's a fresh start. You can turn the chapter in Notre Dame history. You can really step in front of the right place. And the style of play from a Renaissance era has changed. The style of play in 2012 is not what it is in 2022. And the amount of development and evolution of the offense and the defense. We've seen the defense give up 50 points first game, and then some games they didn't give up any points.
Yeah.
So we've seen everything in between. And I think with this era specifically, offensively and defensively, the one thing you'll say we have most definitely is an identity. We're going to know what on offense we're going to do, what on defense we're going to do. And I think with the change
Oh, we lost Lee. Yeah, he's talking about the offense and the way the offense has, or he sees it. He thinks Tommy Rees is going to bring a new offense. We had another great point that Bruce Feldman had. You can go watch that interview from last week on our YouTube page because, look, man, he made a great point. He said the difference between Notre Dame and Bruce Feldman made a great point, which goes to what you were saying when he pointed out, when you asked him about Notre Dame getting to the level of Alabama and that type of continued success. And he said Notre Dame is going to have to step it up because the closer you get to the ball, Notre Dame and Alabama, pretty similar. But when you start going outside to those special positions, skill positions,
those special players,
that's the separator. And that has been the separator. So that needs to be a renaissance as well. We call it the changing of the U's.
Okay, changing of the U's.
That's what we call it, the changing of the U's. We already know we're a linebacker U. We already know we're offensive lineman U. We need to become a quarterback U. We need to become a wide receiver U. We need to change the U's in order for a renaissance to take place.
You're absolutely right. We got to change the U's because at the end of the day, what we had as the U's just doesn't win championships. It gets us a lot of places, though. U offensive line, U take us a lot of places. Great players, bunch of lineage, all of that. Quarterback U would change the game of college football for Notre Dame indefinitely.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, brought to you by Onora Whisky at NoraWhisky.com. That premium American whiskey at NoraWhisky.com. Another renaissance that I think is eventually going to take place is this media situation. A lot of people, I saw someone saying that it's going to be difficult for Notre Dame only being able to give an outlet 6 to 7 home games. 6 to 7 home games is not going to get you 75 million. And I totally disagree. I couldn't disagree more, right? Because it's not what people think you're worth. It's what you can negotiate, right? And if you see, we just break it down. If the SEC and ESPN or the Big Ten and Fox, along with ESPN and Big Ten Network, if they're about to establish that the Big Ten is worth $1 billion, then Notre Dame can just say, well, the entire conference is worth $1 billion.
What are we?
Rutgers is getting this, and that's Rutgers.
And Rutgers ain't been relevant since we played them.
So we're definitely worth more than that.
We're definitely 500 million school. Like half that got to come here.
Well, if you're talking about the entire, if someone has the vision to create an entire conglomerate off of the jewel that is Notre Dame and its brand, right?
You can do it.
TV to your streaming service, weekly access, weekly shows, behind the scenes series. If someone gets the vision and says, yo, we can do this and have this entire package with Notre Dame. And
because we offer other stuff now.
Man.
We offer some stuff on campus that you be like, man, you can't find that anywhere else.
They are.
So Notre Dame has the content and ability to sustain its own network. And be good though. And be, people will watch it. I think you will be gain and garner a lot of streams.
Yeah.
So for us to join the conference, you asking for a lot of value that you're gonna have to give up that pocketbook for. Notre Dame's a $10 billion endowment school.
Yes.
So money, we print it. So it's gonna have to come down to maybe a Catholic thing. Maybe one of them schools gotta convert to Catholicism or something.
Crazy. Lefty podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. We have a super chat. We have some questions. We'll get to those. And once again, we're continuing the push to 2,500 subscribers, and we just got going in August. So, man.
Just started now.
Man, we thank you for the support. Bro, can we flash back to 2010? Urban Meyer's no longer at Utah. He goes to Ohio State. Kyle Whittingham, who is still at Utah, takes over and brings the Fighting Utes into South Bend to face off against Brian Kelly. And, offensively, it was a struggle for Notre Dame. This was senior day, and it was a gritty win. Just a gritty win. We started Robert Blanton with the big punt block to get Notre Dame on the board. This is courtesy of NBC. Tom Hammond was on the call. Mike Mayock was doing the analysis. I actually missed Mike Mayock. I think he was the best analysis we've had on the broadcast.
Better than our guy Flutie?
Like I said, Mike Mayock has been the best analyst Notre Dame has had. We go to the second quarter up 7-3. Here's your boy Mike Floyd. Quick slant, just too big. You know what I mean?
Mike Floyd had 1,000 receptions that season, I think.
Yeah, Mike Floyd in this game only had like 4 receptions for like 38 yards, 1 touchdown.
Hey, but that's the perfect Tommy Reese now.
We go to Duval.
Duval
Kamara. Yes, sir. 26 yards for Tommy Reese in the second quarter. Third quarter to extend the lead. Tommy was rocking 13 back then.
Yeah, that's Tommy in his happiest form now.
Yeah, he comes back. He hits Duval once again. Duval 4 for 34. 2 touchdowns on the day. Hey, Notre Dame will go on to lock it up. 28-3, senior day. Beginning of the Brian Kelly era. This was a big win. Big win because the season was kind of up, down. Helped out in recruiting. Recruiting class eventually became the sophomores on the 2012 national championship team. You see the walk-on quarterback getting the final snap. Everybody holding him up, celebrating him. That's the brotherhood that is Notre Dame. 2010 against Utah, 28-3.
I'm not gonna lie, them jerseys wasn't that nice back then. We didn't start putting that gold on them things till I got up there,
Oh man. So yeah, shout out to Duval, another Ohio kid, right?
I think so.
I think Duval was from Ohio because him and he was on the same team with Brady, I believe.
Oh, out of Dublin, probably.
No, Duval was out of New Jersey, Jersey City.
Yeah, I'm like, City. That's okay. I know all the great athletes look like they come from Ohio, man.
Here we go. Oh man, let's get to some of these questions. It's for the Culture Friday. David Littlefield, thank you for the super chat, my man. I'm just carrying my part, man. My
Hey
boy,
man, Shaun the man, man. We already know. We got some cool things coming up too for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Just stay tuned, man.
Irish 20, Shaun, did you put stock in Keeley looking to give Alabama a look? Yo, recruiting is just different these days.
It's just different. You can't even.
Kids visit.
I put stock in it too because it's Alabama. It's gonna be a great visit. They're gonna show him some stuff. They're gonna be like, "Look at Will Anderson. That's you." I mean, it's an easy sale. Hopefully,
this is my thing.
Keeley stays true. Man.
This is my thing, and I don't understand the fan base. It's like people are complaining about, man, I don't know, can we hold on to our recruits and this and that? It's like, look, man.
The train is getting filled now, so.
But would you rather not have the recruits early and be scrambling late? It's like, what? Like, what do you want?
That's true. I'd much rather not be in the Dante situation and be in the CJ Carr situation.
Yeah, would you rather not have commits and scramble in November and December trying to get kids to join your class, or would you rather have a full class going into the season and just work on keeping those kids in the class?
If anything, it just shows how good of a recruiter you are with the retention.
And eventually, maybe you can get to that point that you can do what Alabama does. Alabama slow walks the hell out of recruiting.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. No pressure.
They can get guys. They can get guys on commitment day.
Dude, their class will sit at about 10 or 12 until like early fall.
And they recruit.
And then they get like 5 or 6 big recruits on National Signing Day because they're Alabama.
Because they get big recruits late because it's like they know how to poach.
Yes.
It's like all right, we like you committed to your school, but 2 days before we're gonna give you a ring with an offer you just can't say no to.
Yeah. So no. I mean, Peyton Bowen is going. It's actually Eli Bowen's trip to Texas A&M, and their mother has been very transparent. Like, my boys are going on trips together, regardless of if it's Eli's trip or Peyton's trip. This is Eli's trip to Texas A&M. Peyton Bowen is going.
Hey, I can trust when mom speaks. If she's speaking, I know we all right.
All right, they're at Texas A&M.
Never that bad.
Jeremiah Love is at Texas A&M. Austin Novosad is at Texas A&M. Like, dude, if that's the case, why can't Peyton Bowen be in Jeremiah Love's and Austin Novosad's ear while he's at Texas A&M? Like, people are looking at this the wrong way, man.
I think, too, these are all the schools, guys, that kids hear about.
Yeah.
These are all the schools, not that are always in contention. Obviously, Alabama is, but you're going to Texas A&M, you're going down there for one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
You want to see what the hype about and how much money they throwing around. That's what, because people are not going to Texas A&M out of just pure football curiosity.
Yeah.
Especially to be how in the conversation of Alabama where they're poaching guys or where they're coming on late. This is a school that's got a lot of interesting things going on over there. And for a recruit, especially an elite recruit, I'll take a visit too.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put stock in it unless it's Alabama, that they're just going to lose their mind and just forget all about Notre Dame.
Yeah. Let's see. Timothy Midget. What's on MF's playlist?
Ohio Players Club. That's definitely.
I was about to say Ohio Player Club. The OJs.
The OJs.
But I do think his time at Ohio State, he probably got into a little bit of Aerosmith.
A little bit who?
Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I think he has a little taste for some rock.
Maybe Metallica a little bit.
Metallica, but definitely a little bit of rock.
A little bit of country. Little lady antebellum.
I don't think he's doing drill.
No, he's not doing drill. More like Kenny Chesney, the boys of fall.
But I do think I can see him rocking to some Afro beats.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A little Tim's. Something
Hey, I
like
think
that.
everybody rocking just some Tim's now.
Hey. A little Tim's. But I can see him rocking to something a little Roddy Rich too.
Like Game Time, Roddy Rich, little DMX. He a linebacker now, so he like that.
That's true. He comes from the Diddy Bop era. So I can see him rocking to some old bad boy. Some of that 2000s music. Jay.
He got a leather coat in that closet.
Yeah, the shiny suit. Man, we cannot MF. Don't ever do the shiny suit, bro. Don't ever do this shiny suit.
Look, you never know. He may have that gunner fashion.
Paul A. Can Tommy Reese be the leader of quarterback U? Seems he has 1 foot out the door. Never speak on another man's dreams. He has NFL aspirations. I actually like that he's upfront about that. Dylan McCullough, I'm sure, probably wants to get back to the NFL at some point. He came from
Notre Dame's known for being a jump-off spot. You have a couple good years anyway.
Pause.
Look at Clark Lee. You know what I'm saying?
The coach that thinks Vanderbilt is going to be the best program in the nation.
And he only saying that because he's been at the best program in the nation. So he think he can take the sauce over there,
People are like, what else do you expect him to say? Not that.
Not that. Yeah. Hell, when has Vanderbilt ever talked about winning anything football-wise?
Not that, bro.
He got to get a franchise quarterback for like the next 3 years straight.
Not that. Let's see. You guys have any more questions for us? Jay Clampett Investments, Aerosmith, please. He's banging Bone Thugs back then. I think you guys are like putting MF in a box. Like if you look at who he was surrounded by and who his friends are, he definitely was into some rock.
Just a little bit.
Absolutely.
There's a couple on this playlist.
Yeah.
Now these are songs that were brought to him though. I'm not saying he out there going through the record store trying to find it. These are songs that was played in his environment that he probably was like, I can listen to that a couple times.
Yeah. Anthony Solomon, this is what happens when you shot down the elite owl of recruit. Look, man. They just got Justice Hayes, right? And Caleb Downs. Kirby Smart is still trying to flip them. They're from the state of Georgia. You're right, Anthony. This is what elite recruiting is all about. And you have said this for months, bro. Retention. You can talk about guys committing. The hard part of recruiting is getting players to stick to their commitment. And you have said from day one, this staff is going to have to fight like hell to retain this class. And the success of it will be about retention.
That's right. That's right. And retention, it comes with character. You can sell anything, but to retain a relationship in the process of people poaching you and all this and that requires a lot of thorough and detailed skill and intangibles, and Marcus Freeman got that.
Yeah. You know what? I can see Marcus Freeman rocking the reggae too. Little reggae. We got to get him on the show. I would be very interested in what his playlist is as he sits at home at night after a nice day of practice and he's sipping on Onora whiskey.
And put on some Barry White. You put on that Onora, put some Onora whiskey in.
Luke Breeding, can Notre Dame flip Noah Rogers? Very interesting. I think if he flips Noah Rogers,
have we ever flipped somebody though?
Probably goes SEC. but we'll see. We shall see. So, man, we thank you guys. We told you this would be a truncated show. Austin Novosad is going to make his decision really soon. So if this flip is going to happen, it's going to happen very quickly. He's at Texas A&M. He was at Baylor on yesterday. Or he's at Baylor today. He'll be at Texas A&M on tomorrow. Jeremiah Love, the Bowens, they're also there. And we just sit and wait. Things have been trending positively for Ronan Hannafin over the last couple of days from what we're hearing. And Ryan Wingo he was actually put the ball by one publication in Notre Dame on yesterday. So, man, if you get Cam Williams and Ryan Wingo in before the season starts, that would be great. That would be great.
Just going back to elite recruiting, that's what it takes, man. We got to be on it.
Like Jimmy James said, how are you feeling about Novosad?
I think Novosad likes what Notre Dame is bringing to him in terms of attention. But is he going to get out of Texas? That's the real question.
Yeah, so, bro, the Renaissance, I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to witness it. And, man, I look forward to seeing what Marcus Freeman brings. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day, brought to you by Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com. Premium American Whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. Look, man, like I said, I've been enjoying the 7-part series Captain chronicling Derek Jeter's life and career on ESPN. I watched episodes 3 and 4 last night, and Alex Rodriguez just has to go on the petty train today. He just has to go on the petty train. Look, man, there can only be one, bro. Like, there can only be one. There can only be one face of any sport. Like, we argued about who it was in the NBA. And, like, when you know who it is, it doesn't matter if Derek Jeter was hit like you, didn't have your power, only batted second, was on a great team. Like, dude, when you came up, you were literally with Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, and Ken Griffey Jr. Like, shut up.
Seriously.
Rush, shut up. You can't be mad that he was on his, NDA bag at the front door in New York doing his thing.
Can't be mad.
Can't be mad that the woman that you tried to wife unsuccessfully was on his hit list. You can't be
on
mad.
the hit list. Can't be mad.
He was the one. He just happened to be in the Mecca winning and winning big. He was
winning big.
Winning big. He was the one. You wanted to be the one. He was the one. And the amount of hate multiple times that you threw at this man in articles, interviews, and calling that dude your brother, Alex Rodriguez, you got to go on the petty train, man. Here's the last.
It's crazy because it's like star-crossed lovers.
Yeah.
It's like, man, he just Cain and Abel almost.
Yeah. Here we go, bro. Your last question. Malik, is Onora better drinking straight or mixed?
See, the special part about it is that it's great straight. It's great straight, but if you want to have a good time and make it through the night, mix it up a little bit.
Yep. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tapping in. Hit the share, hit the notification bell. Most of all, hit the like button. Let us know that you appreciate us. Leave comments even after the show. We'll respond. Have a great weekend. Most of all, spend it different. We'll talk to you guys Monday with another great episode of the Lucky Lefty podcast.